The Texas sky had a way of warning you before it broke. That evening, the wind carried something more than just dust. It carried change. From the kitchen window, I watched the horizon turn a bruised shade of purple. The air grew heavy, thick with the smell of rain and ozone. I started closing the shutters. The rhythmic creak, a small defense against the coming storm. Thunder rumbled in the distance. A low growl that made the floorboards vibrate. Looks like a bad one tonight. I murmured to myself, my mind already running through a checklist. Better cover the pantry. The kitchen door swung open, and Ethan strode in, his raincoat already beaded with the first drops of rain. His face was tense, the lines around his eyes deeper than usual. He looked at me, then at the darkening sky. Storm's rolling in faster than expected. You should stay inside, Emily. I pushed a stray strand of hair from my face, offering a small, defiant smile. I'll be fine. I've handled worse in Dallas. My city past felt like another lifetime ago, but it was still my go-to shield. Ethan's expression didn't soften. He took a step closer, his presence filling the room. Not storms like this one. His voice was low, serious, and it sent a shiver down my spine that had nothing to do with the dropping temperature. Our eyes met, and in that brief moment, I saw a flicker of something beyond just concern for a houseguest. It was a genuine, protective warmth, and it caught me completely off guard. Before I could process it, another clap of thunder shook the house, and the moment was gone. As the wind began to howl, the world outside dissolved into a swirling grey chaos. The ranch felt smaller, cozier, as if the universe had shrunk to the warm glow of this one kitchen light. To keep my hands and mind busy, I started preparing a hearty stew. The rhythmic chop of vegetables was a comfort, a small act of control against the wildness outside. I knew the ranch hands would be soaked and chilled to the bone when they finally came in. The rich aroma of beef and herbs began to fill the air, a small beacon of warmth and welcome. Suddenly, the back door burst open with a crash, and Jake stood there, water streaming from his hat, his face pale. "River's rising, boss. We've got cattle stuck near the lower fence." Ethan turned in an instant, his entire demeanor shifting from quiet protector to decisive leader. "Get the horses ready. I'm coming." My heart leapt into my throat. I rushed to him, grabbing his arm as he headed for the door. "You can't go out there. It's dangerous." The wind shrieked, punctuating my plea. He stopped and looked down at my hand on his sleeve. His voice, when he spoke, was impossibly soft against the storm's fury. "I have to. They're my responsibility." He gently removed my hand and was gone before I could find another word. Swallowed by the roaring darkness. For Ethan, it wasn't just about the cattle. It was a matter of honor, a creed passed down from his father. He'd once told me that a rancher never abandons what's his, whether it's land, livestock, or family. As he rode through the torrential rain, lightning illuminating his silhouette against the raging floodwaters, he wasn't just a rancher saving his herd. He was a son, honoring his father's legacy, battling the elements to uphold a sacred promise made long ago. He wrestled with the panicked animals, his body straining against the powerful current, fighting for every single life. Meanwhile, back in the ranch house, I was a prisoner of my own anxiety. I paced from the stove to the window, the stew simmering forgotten on the stove. Each flash of lightning brought a fleeting, terrifying image of the flooded fields. I watched the rain lash against the glass, my reflection a pale, worried ghost. Every gust of wind sounded like a scream. I wrapped my arms around myself, whispering a desperate prayer into the storm. "Come back safe, cowboy. Please." The words were barely audible, lost in the din, but they were the only thing I could offer against the storm's immense power. The storm reached its terrifying peak. The house groaned under the assault. Then, with a deafening crash that sounded like the sky itself was breaking apart, the kitchen window shattered. A shower of glass and icy rain exploded into the room. I screamed, instinctively throwing my arms over my face as the wind tore through the house, extinguishing the lamps and plunging us into near darkness. Just then, Jake stumbled in from the hall, his face a mask of terror in the dim, flickering light of a single lantern. Emily, Ethan's horse. It came back without him. The world tilted. My breath caught in my chest. What do you mean? Without him? Jake's voice was strained, barely audible over the storm. He went down by the river bend. The old wooden bridge. It collapsed. A cold, paralyzing fear gripped me, but something else surged through it. A fierce, undeniable resolve. Without a second thought, I grabbed a lantern from the mantel and my heavy coat from the hook by the door. I'm going after him. Jake stepped in front of me, his eyes wide with shock. Miss Emily, you can't. It's suicide out there. I met his gaze, my own burning with a fire that defied the storm. Try and stop me. I ran. I ran through the sucking mud and driving rain, the lantern swinging wildly, casting frantic shadows on the ravaged landscape. My heart pounded a frantic rhythm against my ribs, each beat a desperate prayer. The wind tore at my clothes. The rain blinded my eyes. But I didn't stop. I just kept pushing forward, screaming his name into the roaring gale. Then I saw it, a dark shape near the mangled remains of the collapsed bridge. It was him. Ethan was lying half-conscious on the muddy bank, the swollen river rushing just inches from his body. Ethan! I cried out, my voice breaking. I scrambled down the slippery incline, my knees hitting the ground beside him. Ethan, can you hear me? I gently lifted his head onto my lap. His eyes fluttered open, and a weak, pained smile touched his lips. You shouldn't have come. Tears mixed with the rain on my face as I sobbed. Don't you dare tell me that. That night, the storm tore through the land, ripping up trees and fences. But it also tore open our hearts, stripping away all pretense and reservation. Because sometimes, love doesn't begin with whispered words in the quiet of a summer evening. Sometimes, it begins with survival, with a desperate run through a storm, with the raw, unspoken truth that you can't imagine a world without that person in it. With my arm around his waist, we struggled back toward the faint light of the ranch house. Every step was an agony, a battle against the mud and the wind. He leaned on me, his strength gone, and I found a strength I never knew I possessed. We were two battered souls, holding each other up against the fury of the world. And in that shared struggle, something new and unbreakable was forged between us. As the first light of dawn broke through the clouds, the world was washed clean. The ranch was wet and quiet, the air fresh and still. I sat in a chair beside Ethan's bed, where he rested, exhausted but safe. I had spent the night cleaning his wounds and watching over him, my fear slowly giving way to a profound, quiet relief. His hand found mine, his grip weak but firm. He turned his head on the pillow, his voice soft, raspy. You saved my life. I looked at our joined hands, then back at his tired eyes. A smile touched my lips, genuine and tinged with the memory of our ordeal. Guess that makes us even, Cowboy. And as the sun climbed higher, casting a warm golden glow over the healing land, something new began to grow between us. It was fragile, born from chaos and fear, but it was also real and as clear and undeniable as the morning sky. Thanks for watching our story unfold. If you were moved by Ethan and Emily's journey, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more chapters from the heart of the ranch. We'll see you in the next one.